Alright, we gonna keep this show rolling. I want you guys to put your hands together for the headliner. Great audience, put your hands together for Houston Barber.
What's up, guys? Bunch of babies. Let's give it up for all the other comedians here tonight. Good job. So many members made. We had a vampire here. How crazy was that? And a talking horse all in one night. I've never seen that. It's been a weird little bit for me. I'm glad I had the chance to talk to you guys tonight. I'm getting ready to graduate soon. And of course, when you're getting ready to graduate, everyone always asks you, like, what are you going to do? What are your plans? And I'm a creative writing major, so obviously, I don't have any plans at all. And actually, that's a lie. I do have one plan. I want to, at one point in my life, adopt a black cat and name it Tyler Perry. I'm for sure going to do that, but everything else is up in the air. I really wish someone would have sat me down freshman year and been like, yeah, major in English, you'll be fine. You'll get to write poetry and watch movies. But also you should know, like, right around the end of your third year, you'll get the crushing realization that everything you've done has been a complete fucking waste of time. And best case scenario, you'll get a job working at Atomic Coffee. Like, if you're lucky, you can work at Atomic Coffee. But I've enjoyed the college experience so far. I think one of the things that's cool about college is that you can completely change who you are as a person. I think that's something that not a lot of people take advantage of. I definitely did. In high school, I tried really hard to be a jock because my dad was a sports writer, and I thought if I played sports, my dad would love me, but it didn't work. The problem was I was just terrible at sports. I spent my whole life as a bench warmer, which, if you ever had the experience being a bench warmer, like, there's no higher form of humiliation than that. And there's nothing worse than being a kid and going a whole YMCA game without getting on the field once and still having your mom come up to you and be like, hey, great game, son. And be like, Mom, stop patronizing me. I sat down on a bench and watched the whole game just like you did. You probably deserve the Gatorade more than I do. My problem with sports is that I just have, like, no competitive drive whatsoever. I did not care if our team won or lost at all. I played football in high school, and I have a vivid memory of being on the field right before a snap and thinking, damn, this game better be over before American Idol starts. Because David Archuleta needs me to vote for him, or else David Cook is going to win. A lot of people don't believe that I played football in high school, but it's actually true, although it comes with a little bit of an asterisk in that I went to a really small private Christian high school. So all of our football games were, like, just one step above a bunch of homeschoolers playing catch in the backyard. Like, it barely qualified as a sport. But it was super nice for me because all the other teams we would play would be other small private Christian high schools. And so, like, everyone was just super nice to each other. Like, there was one game where I was on defense and a guy blocks me and knocks me to the ground. And after the play's over, he walks up to me and he's like, hey man, I'm really sorry I had to do that. Just like my coach told me that I had to block you. And I'm like, man, it's fine. Like, I had to block someone earlier and I still feel really bad about it. And that's what Christian football is like. But I came to college and I wanted to reinvent myself. I wanted to be a whole other person. So I thought I would go from, like, wannabe jock to wannabe hipster. So I changed my whole wardrobe and I changed all of my likes and interests on Facebook. But then I got here and I realized there's already way too many people that look like this. There's way too many people with dark glasses and shitty beards who pretend to like House of Cards. It's like, we get it at this point, And it seems like I'm making fun of myself, but in reality, like, I'm not this person at all. Like, I just look like this person. I don't even like Arcade Fire. Like, I should look like this. I don't know where I fit in socially. I think that's my problem. Like, I don't like going to parties, or more specifically, I don't like having conversations at parties, because all my conversations at parties are just really weird. Like, all my conversations at parties look like the interview portion of Jeopardy, and I'm Alex Trebek. And it's just, like, really short and awkward, and I'm just, like, only going to talk to you for 30 seconds before I move on to the next person. But pretty much the only way that I'll feel comfortable at your party is if, like, the centerpiece is a bunch of people playing Mario Kart. Like, that's where I thrive. Anything else, like, I will not feel comfortable there. I feel like I need just, like, a subgenre of person to belong to, because, like, I can't do the jock, I can't do the hipster, and also, like, I'm really against, like, this pro-nerd movement that's sweeping the country right now. I just feel like nerds have way too much confidence at this time. And there's this quote that you'll see online that's like, being a nerd means never being afraid of what you like. But I think if you're 20 years old and what you like is My Little Pony and World of Warcraft, like, you should definitely be ashamed of that. You should not wear a t-shirt saying that. But now we live in a world where I get made fun of because I don't know the random villains that pop up at the end of Marvel movies. Like 5 years ago, no one gave a shit about any of this. But now, like, I get made fun of because I can't name all the members of the Sinister Six, and it's bullshit, and I hate it. I shouldn't really be mad though. I've got a couple things going for me. I got a new car recently. Thank you. The 2001 Nissan Sentra. So, good night, everybody. But my car is doing this weird thing where every time I plug in my iPhone, it starts automatically and immediately playing the first song alphabetically in my iTunes library, which for me is the song "Accidentally in Love" from the Shrek 2 soundtrack. Which, here's the thing about the song "Accidentally in Love" from the Shrek 2 soundtrack. I'm not necessarily saying it's a bad song, it's really who doesn't love that song. But I'm just saying it's not the kind of song that you want to make a first impression with. Like, I've learned that it's not a good idea to like pick up a girl for the first time and have her immediately associate you in her mind with Shrek, especially Shrek 2. I'm kind of a traditionalist in the sense that I think the Shrek phase of any relationship should come at least after the second date. It's just the way I phrase, I'm sorry. I'm flexible. But I have more jokes, hold on. Okay, here we go. I'm not a huge fan of relationships at all. I've never broken up with a girl ever. I've always been broken up with, but that's really how I prefer it, because I'm just way more comfortable getting broken up with, because any fault that a girl ever sees in me, like, I already 100% agree with. Like, I'm just the easiest person in the world to break up with. It's always like, I'm always just like, yeah, you're right. I just don't listen. I have no motivation. And my roommate Paul really is a lot cooler and better looking than I am. And if you have the chance to hook up with him, I say go for it. I'm single right now, and I don't have a girlfriend. I don't really feel like I need a girlfriend. What I really need is just like someone to be by me 24/7 to just prevent me from making really sad and pathetic life choices. I just need someone by my side to be like, hey Houston, maybe you shouldn't order 3 sausage McGriddles for breakfast today. Or like, hey Houston, maybe you shouldn't go by yourself to see the Maze Runner on a Tuesday afternoon. I did both of those things yesterday and nobody stopped me, and that's a problem. My least favorite part about relationship is probably texting, and not just texting girls, but texting anyone really I hate, especially if my parents are the worst. It's been like 10 years and they still can't figure out how to text at all. My mom puts "love mom" at the end of every single text message. Like, I'm gonna forget who I'm talking to like every time she sends me a text. And my dad is even worse because all of his texts are like, look like something a Civil War soldier would write to his family who he hasn't seen in months. It's just got like a huge block of text, and it's just like, my dearest son, it's been a tough winter. I love my parents a lot. One thing I definitely blame them for is my name. They named me Houston, and I guess when they did that, they didn't realize that I would have to grow up hearing the phrase, "Houston, we have a problem," every single day of my goddamn life. Which wouldn't be so bad as if I just didn't always hear it at the worst possible times. It's like every time I just do something a little wrong, someone has to say that. Like, if I get a bad grade on a test, or I lose my debit card at Chick-fil-A, or I feel like I can't get an erection, it's always, "Houston, we have a problem." It's bullshit. What's even worse is my last name is Barber. And so every time I search my name on Google, the only thing that comes up are a bunch of barber shops in Houston, Texas, which is really frustrating because it means no matter what I accomplish in life, like no matter how far the comedy thing goes, even if I fucking cure cancer, if you type in Houston Barber, it's just going to be a list of fucking supercuts in Southeast Texas, and that's what my legacy will be. But I was really self-conscious about my name growing up. And one of the ways that I coped with it is I searched Houston Barber on Facebook to see if there is anyone else in the world named that. And there's one. There's one other person. It's this guy who lives in Missouri who's about 3 years older than me. So I added him on Facebook just to casually keep up with his life. And at the time, he was about to graduate from high school. And I really, he had everything put together. He had a beautiful girlfriend. He just got accepted to Northwestern University. He kind of became my role model because this guy, had to deal with all the same jokes I did, yet was able to rise above it. So I used that inspiration. Like, I started getting better grades in high school, and eventually was able to get accepted into a good college, and all because of this guy in Missouri who never even really knew that I existed. But then after a while, I started to realize things were starting to go wrong. Like, he broke up with his girlfriend, and then about a month later, I go on Facebook and see Houston Barber has been working at Taco Bell. I'm like, oh, okay. And then a year later, he drops out at Northwestern, and all of his Facebook statuses are just lyrics to Wiz Khalifa songs. and now that I'm freaked out that this is like a Flowers for Algernon thing, and like all of this is going to start happening to me. And I like my life the way it is. I don't want to have to listen to What's Really, but I don't know how the story ends. But if you come back to Birds like 4 months from now, and all my jokes are about smoking weed in my apartment, like you'll know what happened to me. My parents, I can forgive my parents for naming me that. We were raised super Christian. My parents were super Christian, but they weren't like the traditional Christians. They were like the cool hip Christians. The kind of Christians that go to a church that plays Bon Jovi on Easter Sunday. Because you know who else lives on a prayer? Jesus. Jesus lives on a prayer. And growing up, we'd always go to a bunch of different churches, and all the churches we go to would just get progressively weirder and weirder. And the weirdest church we went to was this place called Club Genesis, which is the real name of a church in Sarasota, Florida. And I'll recommend going to this club. Whenever we go to these churches, it wouldn't be fair too, because my parents would just go to the normal adult church. And me and my little brother would be sent off with a psycho youth leader, which is where all the crazy shit happens. And at Club Genesis, crazy shit went down, because me and my little brother walk into the youth room, and all the other little kids there are speaking in tongues. Which, I don't know if you've ever seen someone speak in tongues before, but it's scary as shit, especially when they're all little kids. And so we walk into this room, and all the kids are laying hands on us and trying to heal us, and they're whispering in our ear like, but I'm 12 years old, so I don't realize how fucked up this scenario is. I just want to fit in with everyone else. So I did the only thing I could think of to do in my 12-year-old mind, which is to start speaking in parcel tongue, like from Harry Potter. I just walk into the coffin and like, I didn't heal anyone, but I did open a chamber of secrets, so that worked out. Okay, thank you guys. My name is Houston.
Give it up for Houston Barber, everybody. Thank you.